All right, Salakia. So I'm gonna continue on. Like I said, always some bullshit dealing with these phone calls. I need to probably get me another phone just to do videos on or something. But anywho, so that's ultimately what it boils down to because of injustice, pride. All right, even by the ways of the Federal Reserve being established, shameful spewing shall be upon their glory because of the prophets, mainly exposing Esau, Edom. All right, for what they have done to the whole planet. All right, how you doing? All right, because of that spirit going along, now people are learning about the history of finances. All right, money, wealth. All right, and the way that they've been living the entire time was not the correct way of so-called being financially freedom. It's a system built off debt, and the system is programmed for you to be further down at the bottom, the poor getting poor and the rich getting richer. And that's ultimately what it boils down to. It's that type of cutthroat game that is basically going on with the currency, the number one thing that people use. Everybody uses the so-called dollar, even though you do have some nations that's trying to push away from it, but still everybody use some type of form of paper because they got influenced by Babylon the Great America. All right, and that's pursuant to the scriptures as well. It's lucky. Let me watch my surroundings. People can't drive, man. Anyway, and like I said, they got the records. Now you got people doing videos, podcasts talking about the finances and talk about Jackal's Island and the Federal Reserve note. All right, fiat money, fiat currency. You can look into that. All right, the year of 1933, dealing with the gold standard. All right, being taken away from the dollar, and I believe in 71, it was more on an international, type situation. All right, dealing with the U.S. dollar being backed up by gold, and that's ultimately is causing many reasons of inflation. Soon that's going to be driven into hyperinflation, man. All right, thus saith the Bible, thus saith the scripts. So I typed in fiat currency definition. Fiat currency is government issued money like the US dollar that is not backed up by physical commodity like gold or silver, but it is declared a legal tender by the government. Its value comes from public trust. All right, a faith-based system, man. All right, a faith-based credit system. All right, basically invisible money. All right, digital numbers that is ultimately turns into physical money, physical paper. That's ultimately what it boils down to. And it's so crazy because meanwhile, our people have a heavy wicked spell to try to get millions, try to be billionaire, hell, just trying to get a dollar, to get a meal, killing each other, slaughtering each other, doing all types of, as the young people like to say, backdoor activities, And that's majority of our people, especially in the times we living in now, and the love of many shall wax cold. So that's why we always have to be circumspect on how we, do our daily travels, man. No matter where the hell you at, always look over your shoulders and be circumspect. Because shit is wicked out here, man. It says its values come from public trust in the issuing government and the laws that mandates its acceptance for debt replacement and taxes. The supply and demand dynamics of the economy also influence its value. It says no intrinsic value. The paper or metal the currency is made of it is not worth its face value. Its value is in what it can be exchanged for. All right, using it for goods. All right, using it to pay bills. sustain everyday living. So when that that MOTB system comes into place, that new digital system, you can just imagine how many people are gonna flock to it. Even the ones that knows what it is or what times that we're living in. All right, they're already implementing the real ID, even though that's not the actual, scripture that it's talking about, but it's leading to that way of living, that way of thinking. All roads lead to Revelation 13:16, man, at the end of the day. And that's the times that we're living in. No matter how much you people try your best to live it up, you try to drown your sorrows. Hey, the evidence is out. There's so many people on TikTok. People getting TikTok famous because they're complaining how bad it is living in America. And the reason they're getting famous because most of the people can't relate, whether they be over here in the States or even in other countries. All right, and you'd be surprised. Then that's another thing you learn as you get older, that America really is the worst and somewhat the shittiest and the conniving place to live in, man. All right, bunch of bloodthirsty, businessmen, corporate businessmen that just want fucking slaves, man. All right, and then a lot of nations been influenced by that shit. Going back to the script of Habakkuk 2 and 5. All right, transgressor by one, he built unto him all peoples and all nations. All right, wanting them to follow after the likeness of them being corrupt, and so on and so forth. So ultimately, hey, this is judgment coming from the Almighty. All right. It's ultimately what it boils down to, judgment. That's why these things is going to happen. And when it does happen, though it tarried, hey, wait for it will surely come. All right. That's all we doing. Just prophesying, waiting. All right. Waiting for the destruction and hoping that we be exempt. It says Isaiah 13:6, judgment on the day of the Lord. Howl ye, for the day of the Lord is at hand. Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushua. It shall come as a destruction from the Almighty. Therefore shall all hands be faint, and every man's heart shall melt. Read that in AMP. Therefore all hands will fall limp, and every man's heart will melt. All right, with great fear, because that's what's coming. Great fear, man. And it was one of the elders out of LA, Lord will I go back and do another lesson, put his lesson up he did not too long ago. And you have, soldiers, even though he was a Ukrainian soldier, soldiers real life crying on the internet, social media, because they don't want to go to war. All right, but that's the times that we're living in, no matter what. All right, even when these preppers be talking, like, yeah, that's some good information, good source, but at the end of the day, if Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua is not with you, you're done. And it's just that simple. And that's what we preach. And that's why we're so passionate on what we believe in, because we clearly see what the fuck is going on, man. Everybody else can't see it. Or if they do see it, they want to ignore it. But hey, truth is truth, lies is lies. If you want to ignore the state of the world, have at it. That's on you. Okay? And don't get me wrong, it's many distractions. It's easy to go into complacency and so on and so forth. But we got to know what's on the prize, what's the prize, and what's the objective. And the main objective, keep preaching his word. All right, now I understand, even though I did understand, but it's just that process of thinking it and pondering on it. This really is the best times to be doing as much as you can for this ministry, pushing the words. All right, preparing your mind for persecution for the name's sake. Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua for the doctrine. All right. And your faith, ultimately your faith, man. It's about to get real ugly. The Lord is about to, fuck this place up. Verse 8, and they shall be afraid, pains and sorrows shall take hold of them. They shall be in pain as woman that travaileth. They shall be amazed at one another. Their faces shall be as flames. All right, going into the great terror that's going to be upon these people. It's like I said, at the end of the day, people are not used to, a collapse, you know, a true, real economic collapse that's going to lead to, can't forget EMP attacks, troops in the streets. People are not going to be used to that, especially the small town that I'm in. And that shit going to be like people say, it's going to be something like out of a fucking movie. But the difference is, it's going to be true reality. And you're going to have to choose between life or death, man. All right? No matter what, you're going to have to make decisions in that day. You know, rational decisions. Because great judgment is coming. Verse 9, behold, the day of the Lord Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, cometh, cruel both with wrath and fierce anger, to lay the land desolate, and he shall destroy the sinners thereof. And that's ultimately what is one of the issues of what's going on in the world, economic woes. All right, because of you can read Ecclesiastes, the 12th chapter. All right, the keepers of the house shall tremble. You got these financial advisors, people that works in the stock market. All right, the stock markets. All right, they're trembling. Investors are trembling. You know, CEOs, owners, and you wonder why a lot of these people are resigning. People don't even look at that as a sign. Major companies resigning, bankruptcy, going into bankruptcy, so on and so forth, because it's a slow and agonizing pain of the death of Babylon the Great America. That's all it is, man. And no matter what these, you know, because for the masses of the people, all right, even though they still don't know what the hell's going on, but for the masses of the people, they see the whole corruption and the division in the government. All right, and that's going to eventually lead to 2 Ezra 6:15 and the 16th chapter. All right, sedition amongst men, insurrection upon the people that fear the Lord. Ultimately, Israel, Jacob's trouble, which we've been preaching for quite some time. We preach week in and week out through the Spirit and power of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. All right, whether they bear or forbear, we still have a job to do. We have a duty. We have an assignment. This place is finished. And there's all types of sources and informations that clarify this, man. But everybody don't have that spiritual gift of faith. All right, believing and ultimately hoping for a new kingdom, a new world filled with righteousness. That's another thing. That's how you know really and truly people like this place. Well, they love this place, America. All right. They love the freedom of wickedness that they can really do. All right. Even though it's some limitations and shit like that, you know, but still they just love the empire of Esau, Edom. Ultimately, it boils down in their spirit. They love and trust in oppression. They don't want to rule. They don't want to be on top. They want to be at the bottom, still receiving food stamps, getting paid paycheck to paycheck, working about 2 jobs, 3 jobs, living in a fucking vehicle, a car, still making high-ass payments on the car, high-ass payments, interest rates, which goes into usury, and that's not a Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. That's against the law of the Bible. But meanwhile, these are the people that's supposed to hold on the Bible, that upheld the Bible. That's how you know, man, something ain't right. And through the Spirit, if you ask, you shall receive, but only is being received unto the elect. Because I always knew right then and there, ever since growing up, why the fuck the world is so messed up, man. Why people is poor, why certain people are rich. And now it makes sense. Especially for our people, the so-called Black, Hispanics, Native Americans. We were conquered. This is not our rest. This is a place of captivity, and we are refugees in the land of America, no matter how much benefits you receive of this land from these people. Value based on trust. People accept it because they trust the government to maintain its stability and value through economic policies. Central bank control. Governments can control the supply of fiat currency, allowing them to influence economic factors like inflation, though mismanagement can lead to devaluation, which we're witnessing right now. That's why inflation is happening. All right, because the value of the dollar is decreasing. It's not standing still. It's not going up. It's not increasing. It's decreasing. That's why everything is high. All right. And that's why we're in a state of inflation right now. And it says devaluation or hyperinflation. We're already in the stages of devaluation. Next step, hyperinflation. That's, ooh. And then it's so crazy because I feel that's when people really gonna somewhat try more to inquire, try to see what's going on. But yep, I believe that through the Spirit, that's gonna happen. It says King James Version does not use the exact phrase economic woes, but it describes financial hardship, poverty, and economic collapse in various contexts, often tied to sin, judgment, or social decay. And that's ultimately what that's going into, Isaiah chapter 14 and 11. And Lord will, I'm going to get another video on that because it shows you the moral decay of the American people. All right, especially from our people. Especially from our people, man. All right. We have fallen, man. Lamentations 4:1. How is the gold become them? All right, through the Spirit. And we are that once chosen gold by the Heavenly Father through the only begotten Son. But we have fallen. But now, the Spirit of the elect is here to bring that charge, man, of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai upon the rest of the elect. So with that, I'm going to close out, reach my destination, giving all praise, glory, honor to Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai, Bashem Rakak Wadash. Double honors to the elders and apostles, great millstone, teach us this truth. Peace, love, and blessings to the elect scattered around four corners of the earth. Till next time, I say shalom.